Today our guest is Pandit Vishwa Mohan Bhatt. He is one of the key instrumentalists in Indian music in India, and his biggest contribution to the Indian classical music has been the integration of guitar into the Indian music system, and we are very lucky to have him with us.
Thank you.
Mohan, thank you very much
My-
for joining us. And so let us start with when and how did you get into the classical music?
You see, I have a tradition of music in my family, Bhatt family of Jaipur. For last 300 years, they are all devoted to Indian classical music.
300 years, like how many generations?
Traditions are going since last.
So 300 years will make how many generations?
At least 5-6 generations.
5, 6, okay.
So music came to me in my blood itself.
Mm-hmm.
And my father, my mother, my brother, my sister, everybody was connected to Indian classical music. And so we had an environment of Indian classical music in my family. And since childhood, the sound of music was going into my ear.
So what are your first recollections like?
Yeah, first my father and my mother, they were vocalists. So I was actually very much into vocal from the beginning, 5 years old, then 10 years tech I did vocal music. Then I was attracted to sitar because my brother Shashi Mohanji used to play sitar, my sister Manju Ben plays sitar, my nephew Krishna but he plays sitar. So sitar was there, and then the violin was also there, and my two brothers playing violin.
So now this leads to the next question is, how did you get to guitar?
So one day, a girl came from Germany to learn Indian music on the guitar from my father.
And how old you were at that time?
I was like 14 years old. So that's how I saw the guitar for the first time. And I was attracted to it, and then when she was leaving, we bought that guitar, and I started putting new strings into it to make it suitable for playing Indian classical music the manner I wanted. Because I was used to the sound of sitar, so I started putting some sympathetic strings also into it. So that's how the process started in 1967.
67.
And 1970 I started performing from Bombay. So that was my first concert.
Now, when you were playing with a guitar, did it ever come across your mind that how you are going to integrate that into the Indian classical music? How challenging it was?
Yeah, it was challenging. You see, you have to really work hard to get some new kind of sound, new technique. And this Mohan Veena, which I named, is a combination of Gayaki Yang and Tantrkari Yang, both into it. Gayaki means the singing, the vocal nuances over it, because the sustain is very much there in this. Otherwise, in plucking instrument, sustain is not so much. After one stroke, the sound goes down. But in this, I have the benefit of playing so many notes in just one stroke. And the mid, gamak, everything, like if you want to play... So this is without breaking. Not that. So these are very important nuances, legato part in Indian classical music, which if you can bring out from an instrument, then it becomes perfect. So that is the benefit of this instrument, that it has the sustain, and in just one stroke I can play these kind of vocal nuances, as well as then the Tantrkaryang with 2 fingers and thumb. All this permutation, combination of jhala and or the bowl of Mahar Gharana, these can be brought out in this instrument.
So when you came up with this idea about guitar and the Indian classical music, I'm sure that you must have told your musical family members. What was their reaction?
Yeah, first they thought this boy is, why he's not doing sitar.
Mm-hmm.
But I said I want to have my own thing. And if I could just do what I was dreaming for, or I was thinking to have a new kind of sound, new kind of style, new kind of, which could be, like very expressive and closer to vocal, and then very vibrant, very tender at time, everything which could incorporate all the emotions, the ras and bhav which are necessary for Indian classical music.
So, when was the first time you gave a public performance with your
1970
1970?
in Bombay, yes.
And how was it received?
Yes, it was very well received. I still remember the Times of India caption that 18-year-old artist steals limelight.
You were 18-year-old at that time.
Yes, yes. So they wrote that 18 years old artist steals limelight, and it is going to be a revolution in Indian classical music.
And I think it is. It is because I was listening to some of your playing instruments on the YouTube, and I was listening to one about for which we got the Grammy Award.
Yes.
The Meeting by the River.
Meeting by the River.
And that is absolutely divine music.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that.
So tell me, let's talk about a little bit about that
fusion work.
Yes, exactly. Talk about.
Yes, it was in 92.
Mm-hmm.
They approached me, the recording company called Water Lily Acoustics.
Okay, where they're based?
They are based in Santa Barbara,
here in the US.
LA, yes,
yeah.
California.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, this guitar player Rai Kuder heard my earlier albums released by this Water Lily Acoustics, and he found it very interesting, and he said, "This is the best sound of guitar I could ever hear." Mm-hmm. Then this recording company told them, "Why don't you combine if you like so much?" So he said, "Yes." Then I went for a night because I had only one night to record this Meeting by the River. I was on tour of about 27 cities at that time, and I had only one day. Mm-hmm. So I just went from Montreal to LA, and then we started the recording at 12 o'clock in the night, and I had to leave at 5 o'clock in the morning. So whole night this was a unique experience that was recorded in a church, in a chapel, because we wanted to have the...
Was it a live recording? Or?
Yes, it was a live recording, and we wanted to have the natural ambience, natural echo. It was not given by any computer or any sound system. So it was natural acoustic sound we took.
So you can say that was the beginning for the fusion music for you, or you had done experiments before that?
Yes, that you can call it. It was the beginning in 1992.
So after that, tell us a little bit more about the
fusion. I did with Bela Fleck, the banjo player.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's 2 times Grammy winner.
When was that?
After that, 92, after 95, I think 96, 97, I did with Jibing Chen, a Chinese erhu player. Then I did with Taj Mahal, the African.
So, and which year did you win Grammy?
Grammy I won in 94.
94. Where are you the first Indian to win the Grammy or
somewhere
here? No,
I am the second one.
Second. Who was the first one?
Pandit Ravishankar.
Pandit Ravishankar, of course. Yes. Okay.
Of course.
Now talking about the fusion music, have you played with any artists from Africa or Latin America? Or?
Yes, as I mentioned, Taj Mahal is the musician I combined with.
Okay.
And some other musician I did some fusion. Yes.
So do you listen to African or Latin American music?
Not so much, not so really. Much. Okay. But when we sit with our instrument, it becomes very easy for us. For Indian classical musician, I think since we have every scale in our system, whatever possible, so it becomes little easy for us to combine with any stream of music.
Now, in this today's global world and digital media and digital technology where everything is accessible to everybody all over the world.
Yep.
And of course we are now exposed to more music and culture and drama from other countries.
Yep.
So how do you think that it is being balanced by the Indian classical music? Does it have any impact there, or is Indian classical music is adapting to the new global trends?
Yeah, I think Indian classical music is quite popular in Western countries, and especially in America. I see lot of response, lot of people turning up for the concert, almost houseful concert. So that's a very good sign.
Do you think that is there any danger to Indian classical music or not really?
Danger? No, I would not say there is any danger, because we have galaxy of musicians in our system who are doing great job, and so there is, I mean, there is no danger for Indian classical music. See, Indian classical music, I can say that it is somehow it is not for mass. Because how many people would like to purify their soul? How many people would like meditative music, sacred music, devotional music, and how many people would like to connect with God through music? That is the question. If they want just some exciting things, they can have this 2-3 minutes piece from any kind of music.
Sure.
Or they are more connected with the video, you see, these days.
Yeah, that's
unfortunately.
right. True.
So music is being watched, not being listened to. That is the problem with classical music, because classical music is something which you are not required to see or watch. You have to feel it into your ears. It will go into your heart gradually,
Sure.
and it will occupy your soul. That is the main aim of Indian classical music.
I think you were raising a very interesting point.
Ji.
And as you yourself have played in India and also outside India, in the US and Europe.
Yes.
So what do you think do you see any difference in the audience in America and India for classical music?
Audience is almost the same.
Or reception by them, I should say.
Yeah, little bit different, but yes, in India we get in between also, wow, kya baat hai, this kind of
Sure. But what about the attention, like appreciation?
Appreciation is in India, things are much better now, I would say. In places like Saptak Festival in Ahmedabad, Savai Gandharv in Pune, Dover Lane in Calcutta, and Ville Parle in Bombay, they are very good circles. We have like thousands of people, at least 10,000 people in that coming, and with full concentration. Even with that big crowd, there is a very good discipline to listen Indian classical music.
So how we can spread more about Indian classical music outside India?
See, everybody is making efforts to make it popularized, and see, the artists these days are traveling a lot. I have played in about 81 countries till now.
81.
Yes, and in America itself, I have played in more than 150 cities. And every artist in their humble manner, they are traveling, playing concerts, and then showing the greatness of Indian classical music, how this music is being created on the spot when they perform. You see, it is not something which we prepare at home, or it is not pre-decided or pre-rehearsed music. The music is impromptu within the framework, but an artist has the liberty to improvise the rag in the manner he wants to, keeping in view the ras and bhav and the emotion and the color of the rag. Some discipline is also there, some swar bandhan, some rag bandhan, some tal bandhan. All these limitations are there, but even then a musician, if he is brilliant, he can do wonders in just 7 musical notes.
Now, are there other musicians in India who have followed your lead in creating this fusion type of instruments or combination, or who are playing Mohan Veena?
Yes, there are good following.
I think your son is also one of the players.
My son, elder son Salil he is performing on Mohan Veena, and he has named it as Sattvic Veena because he made some changes over
in your
Mohan Veena. My Mohan Veena has a body and the neck is joint. But in his instrument, this is a big one piece of wood carved.
Sure.
So there is no joint. Because once in Montreal, when I took my instrument from the belt, I found that it is all
It got
The
cut.
neck is broken, and I was crying because I had to play the concert. So my son got this idea ki why don't we have some instrument which has no joint? So that's design.
So tell me what happened. You know, most instrument was broken. What happened? How did you?
Then luckily, see, this instrument is the most popular instrument in the West. So I got very good repairer, and that neck was fixed,
Okay.
and I played the concert.
And how many hours after, or how many days after the concert was?
It was next day.
Next day, okay.
And my younger son Saurabh is a composer, music composition he does, and a sound engineer also.
Do you have any manufacturer or somebody who manufactures that, or it is still handmade? Or
Yeah, it is handmade, yes, and manufacturer is there in Kolkata, and his name is Bhaba Sindhu Biswas.
okay,
He is making Mohan Veena, the authentic one which I designed.
excellent. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the albums. And I noticed the Meeting by the River. Then also you had something about just the river or rain. I think rain.
Yeah.
So do you feel any special connection with water or water body, or you just it's a coincidence that it?
See, it's like meeting two streams of music. So we decided that this name should be there, Meeting by the River.
So let's talk about a little bit about guitar again.
Yeah.
And I think your contribution is absolutely phenomenal to the Indian classical music,
That's
and this is
very
how the music and the systems evolved.
Yeah.
Are you glad that you did that? What you did with guitar?
Yes, I am very, very happy that I could humbly give some new sound, new techniques to Indian classical music.
Now you were saying that the sitar has been a very important part of your family.
Yes.
So what do you think of sitar?
Sitar is a wonderful instrument. Every instrument has its own speciality.
Did you ever think that you will not play sitar? Or you wish you had played sitar?
Yes, sitar is, I love sitar. The sound, the technique and everything I love. Yes. And we are very much impressed with Pandit Ravi Shankar ji in my family.
Sure, okay.
Yes.
So I think Ravi Shankar ji played a big role in this outside, spreading the sitar.
Yes.
And also India has some other big sitar players. Who will be some of the top players today in India?
Sure. Yes.
Who will be some
Ustad
of the...
Vilayat Khan Sahab.
Sure.
Yes, Imrat Khan Sahab. Nikhil Banerjee was another wonderful sitar player. Oh my God, he was such a great sitar player.
Is there some sort of a meeting or get together of all these top notch players? You meet somebody's house and sit down and chat.
Yes, sometimes we get this opportunity. Recently, there was a concert in which many big artists were there.
Such as?
We shared the stage on the same time. Everybody was sitting and listening to each other. Pandit Jasraj ji was there, Pandit Hari Prasad ji Chaurasia was there, Vikku Vinayak Ram ji was there, N. Rajam ji there, and some Bombay Jayashree was there, I was there, and some other musician. We were on the stage. So sometimes you get that opportunity. Very rare it is,
sure.
But sometimes you get, and so nice.
So in that type of opportunity, for example, when you meet, when we meet, in somebody's house, in party or get-togethers, we'll talk about politics, we'll talk about movies. What do you talk about?
We generally talk about what is the scenario of Indian classical music, what is the future of Indian classical music, what the musician should be doing, and how to make it more popular, and what not to do. Or, sometimes we talk about one rag should not be that long, you see. If you are performing in West, you should make it little
short.
Compact, short and small presentation. Sometimes it appeals, but at the same time, some artists they say no. We want to give them the exact way what we do it in India.
Sure.
And I agree to that. See, they have to know that this one rag, until and unless you have 1 hour for that rag, you are not able to justify that rag.
So now, say in next 10 years or next 10 years maybe too start a time, but next 20 years,
Yes.
how do you look at the Indian classical music?
Indian classical music, I think it's a great future, and some, we can say now that YouTube is there, internet is there, everything, media is there, TV is there. So I think it's a good exposure we get through that, and music is being very, very popular. These days, only thing the downloading is too much.
Sure, yeah.
So the music stores are suffering. No music stores are these days. Like before, we used to walk in that music store and used to see all the CDs.
Sure, right.
And
now everything is online.
Now everything is online. They just download and they put in their car. So anyway, the time is changing. It's okay. For Indian classical music also it is good. In YouTube, sometime I want to listen to Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab. I just type Ustad Bade and it will come, everything. So that is, music has become very accessible to this generation and for us also. So that's a good thing. That is why Indian classical music is becoming more and more popular, and I'm very, very hopeful for the future. Some very good talent is coming out also. They are doing great job.
Then this, of course, leads also to, like, if somebody is listening on YouTube in Africa or sitting in Latin America or Northern Europe or anywhere, and they say, oh, I find it very interesting, I'm going to combine that with some of the instrument they're playing there. Have you come across that type of trend? Or?
Yes, there are a lot of emails are there where they propose me that we want to have a collaboration with you, this and that. So a lot of enthusiasm is there for this instrument.
Can we talk a little bit about your growing up, that the environment, the family, and the music? What are some of the things you learned at that time, and today you think that, oh, I wish I had done that when I was a child?
See, my childhood memories are very nice because I had opportunity to meet all the galaxies of Indian classical music musician, because my father used to call them, invite them, and also to organize some music concerts. So that's how I got exposure to meet many big artists, and so I was growing in that kind of atmosphere where they used to do their riyaz in our basement in Choda Rasta in Jaipur. There is a Bhatt Gali in our name. So there many artists were there. So and I did not go to school just because of music. I went, but I appeared for the examination. Then I did my graduation also, but as a private candidate. I did not attend even college. So no school, no college. I surrendered it because I wanted to give more time to music, and I did my degree, BA with distinction marks.
Excellent.
But privately.
Private.
So that was this thing. So I have no regrets for my childhood.
Excellent. Now, when you were growing up as a child,
Yeah.
and you said that you met a lot of people, at that time, did you meet any musician who was really very inspiring? You said, oh my God, this person is totally amazing.
I was fascinated by Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, none other than.
Sure.
I saw him, I admired him, and I was amazed to see the popularity, all over the world, how he was so simple, so down to earth, and he was very, very kind to us. He loved our family. All 4 members, my eldest brother Shashi Mohanji, my sister Manju Behan Mehta, then me, then Krishna Mohanji, we all 4 are his disciples. So he said, this is my family, he said, because the biggest artist, 4 artists, so this is the biggest family he has, so he loved.
So what was that charming thing in him that he said, oh my God, this person. What was that? The one thing.
His persona, his popularity, the way he carried himself, wonderful.
So, and do you also sometimes, people think that, oh, life is tough, we have to work hard. Do you get any of those type of thoughts and ideas in your in your mind, you think, oh, my life is great. I'm very, I'm getting whatever I want.
Fortunately, I didn't have to struggle that much. I'm very lucky to have good family, good background, and good atmosphere and good people around me, good organizations, good traveling, good food. So I'm very, very happy. It's God's grace to me.
Excellent. Do you think that if I ask you to tell us about
Yeah.
your, this is my real weakness, this is the thing I just cannot, is there anything?
Go ahead, Mishra.
So what will be your weakness?
My weakness, I would call that I would like to be into music all the time.
Sure. And any type of music or certain type
Anytime, but classical, basically classical. And I feel helpless. I mean, I can't live without music, without listening to. Even I listen to a young fellow, very young artist who is coming up, but I like to listen to them. And other weakness, I don't know. My vegetarian food is also my weakness.
Mine too.
Yeah, that you can say that is my weakness. And second weakness is that I want to travel comfortably in business class. That is why that is my weakness.
I know some people too who want to travel in business class too. Now, you said that you listen to music all the time. What about, have you listened to Bollywood songs or Bollywood music?
Oh, yes, very, very nice. I love them.
Like what will be some of your favorite?
We grew up, like
with
that,
Bollywood,
listening with all the songs. Though my father in the beginning, he was very strict. When we started the radio, fiddling with radio and starting listening to this Madhuban Mein Radhika Nache and this all song. But he said, don't listen to other songs. If it is based on classical, you should listen to. Otherwise, just he used to put radio off. So, and he said, do classical only. Do Alankar instead of that.
So among Bollywood singers, who will be your favorite singer?
Today I find Shreya Ghoshal is very talented.
She's beautiful, amazing voice.
She has the talent.
Yeah.
And Sonu Nigam is also another Mohammad Rafi these days. Sunidhi Chauhan can sing any kind of song.
Sure.
So they are wonderful youngsters who are coming up and doing wonders too.
What about some other Pakistani singers? Have you followed the?
Yes. Mehdi Hasan Sahab was the great, and Ghulam Ali Ji is great.
Sure.
Yes, I listened to Ghulam Ali Ji's.
Any newer singers have you followed there or not much in Pakistan?
In Pakistan, no, not new.
Not new.
I did not listen to, but yes, there are so much of talent.
What about, we talked about your weakness. What do you think is your biggest strength? That I can deal with anything. What will be that?
Yeah, my willpower.
Your willpower.
My upcoming, my strength of my family, which my mother gave me. She tapped me and she said, you are going to rule the music world one day. And so I still have that feeling in my...
So tell me about growing up with your mother. How was she?
Yeah, she was very loving and she expired in 2005. But
so by that time, of course, you had really climbed all
yes,
the ladders.
I was there. So she was there to always encourage me. In the beginning days, if you are talking about 1967, when I was pursuing this instrument and doing changes, and so she was very curious and she was watching me and helping me to bring a hatoda, keel or a screwdriver or whatever. She used to help me out and she said, do whatever you want to, but be sure that you will do it nicely.
What is the best advice she gave you?
She gave me,
Yes.
first you become a nice human being with a kind heart, respect all others. Then you can think of anything else in the world.
And so now, of course, all of us go through sometimes, this crazy phase in our life.
Yeah.
You come upon a hurdle or problem or obstacle or challenge, I should say. What is the first thing comes to your mind?
First thing is that I have to be ready for anything. And whatever is there, I will have to be satisfied in myself. if I don't get what I want, I don't get disappointed or if any frustration doesn't affect me.
Is there anything you think that you still want to do in your life?
No, I have no dreams, I have no desires. Whatever comes my way, I enjoy it and I do it. Because my father told me, if you expect 100% and if you get 50%, your loss is 50%. So just expect zero. So whatever you get will be your gain. So,
Sure.
so this is the how I grew up, and I said, whatever comes, whatever people give me, that should be the thing. It should come out from others to you, not that you want and you gain it, or you know, that is the thing. Philosophy of life.
Sure, yeah, I mean, I think that's a very
Sorry,
simple philosophy. And, now, I'm going to ask you one tough question. Is
Sure.
that you keep talking about your, father and mother, of course.
Yep,
you
yep.
know. So, was any difference between these two? You saw that something different between these two in raising you, or somebody who really touched your soul? That
Yeah, mostly my mother.
your mother.
Yes, she was very kind, and I used to see her working very hard.
She was a housewife, or she?
Housewife also, but she worked also. She worked as lecturer in music.
Oh, excellent.
She was the one who introduced music as a subject in schools and college.
Oh, excellent.
She had the credit. Otherwise, music was not in that academic calendar.
And this was in Rajasthan, or
In Rajasthan.
Rajasthan.
So there was no music in schools and colleges. So she stood for it, and then it opened in schools and in colleges and then universities.
Excellent.
So hers is a very big contribution to spread Indian classical music in Rajasthan.
Now, what is your typical routine in India? Like when you were in India, you
I-
travel around.
Yeah, travel. I travel like 20 cities in a month. So it's a lot of traveling and
And
yeah.
always business class.
Always, yes. I prefer, because these days I am now 64 and my knees needs little rest.
Yeah, sure.
But even then it's okay, no, not a problem. So I keep traveling most of the time, and then rest of the time I just do whatever any normal person would do.
You have any expectations from your children?
As I told you, I don't expect anything.
That's-
Whatever they do, I said yes, very nice, do it. But I will never tell them ki achieve that, or I was in your age, I got this and you are not there. So I don't say that. I have given them full liberty, the way they want their life, and yes, musically I tell them to be strong, to learn as much as possible from me, from others, listen to other maestros, what they did and how they reached the height, for what reason, what kind of music you are looking for. Are you looking only to entertain the people, or you first want to satisfy your soul and your mind? So this is how I tell them.
And I assume that you first focus on yourself. and
Yes,
yourself.
first you have to satisfy yourself, because for me, if you talk, I am the perfectionist. Until and unless it is perfect, I would not play, that whatever.
Is there some real big challenge with being a perfectionist? It comes with a lot of challenges, to be.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
But, struggle with that.
Fortunately, I didn't have to have many things. I do it.
Mm-hmm.
I do it.
Also, how often do you travel to US?
US, I keep traveling.
Keep traveling.
Yes, US is the place I love. Out of 81 countries, this is the favorite country of mine, and I have a green card.
Excellent.
So I love coming here, playing here, not only for Indian audience but Americans. All the audience, they love me. They gave me so much love and respect. Every musician has my Meeting by the River, the album on which I won the
That's
Grammy.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so everybody. So whenever I meet some musician, they say, "Oh, we know you are V.M. Bhatt." and we have your meeting by the river. So that gives me, kind of encouragement and tap on my back.
So as we head towards the closer of the interview, I have just
Yeah.
one more question for you.
Please go
That
ahead.
here you see in the US is there's a lot of interest both among the Indians as well as non-Indians
Yeah.
in learning the Indian music,
Correct.
both classical and the Bollywood as well, and other folk music. So what are the couple of advice you will give to the younger generation who wants to learn Indian music?
I would always tell them, number one, don't be dependent on music. You should have something for your earnings. Don't make it a profession to live.
Sure.
Yeah, you do some computer engineering or whatever, or some qualification. Music you should keep inside, but as a main thing. That will give you at least one security that you are not depending on music to earn money out of music. So that is the first thing I would advise them. Second is you have to find a very good guru. Have patience. This is a long journey you have to go. Long riyaz, long sadhana you have to do. Then you can achieve something.
Do you teach in India? Or?
I want to teach, but I don't get time, frankly speaking. But yes, whenever I get time, I teach. Whichever city is there, I teach there. They come to meet me. My students, my followers. Even in Canada, there is one, this Harry Manx, very famous name. He has earned a good name here. So when I go, I teach him.
Okay. Well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
your time. It was really a pleasure meeting you and
pleasure.
great
Namaskar.
interview. Thank you very much.